Hello, everyone. What is going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome to the Luanti podcast. Episode 1.
Yeah, it's the first time we had the three of us in a mix-up. Every opening we fucked up for the last 10 episodes. It's now standard.
How is it fucked up?
You know it's fucked up.
This is the Luanti podcast. I don't know what the fuck up is. We have a band. Tyler has left us and been replaced by Luigi, and now the podcast has been rebranded.
The other black guy.
Oh my god. Oh jeez.
And now it's demonetized.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Well, Tyler may be gone, but we still have the same 3 topics we always have every goddamn week.
Also, listeners, Tyler's not gone. He'll be back. I realize we're using a lot of definitive descriptors to describe where Tyler is. He's literally watching a movie and he'll be back next week.
He's dead.
Yeah,
that's him.
Between Freeman being busy this week, me having a wedding this week, and Tyler being busy, there was just no good night. So Tyler just offered to step out for the week, and we invited Luigi on to talk the same shit Tyler talks about anyway.
Surprise guest.
All right. Yeah, you guys can take it away with the Overdank.
All right. So, in the midst of the event that was going on that Tyler and I have been talking about on and off for the last couple weeks, Blizzard snuck out some changes into the PTR. I know a couple, or no, it was right when the event went live, they changed one of Hanzo's ability cooldowns, and everyone's like, why? You announced a rework like 3 months ago. What's going on here? So they're like, all right, now he's in the PTR. Except they also accidentally snuck a rework of one of the existing maps that was, pretty biased towards one team in sermons. So Blizzard just keeps sneaking shit in everywhere. So first we'll talk about Hanzo real quick. For anyone who doesn't play Overwatch, Hanzo was one of the 2 snipers at launch. He's aimed more at mid-range than long-range. He's like the bow and arrow character, so you do have stuff like...
Oh, he's that guy.
Arrow drop. But the big issue with Hanzo was he has this ability called Scatter Arrow, and the idea was you fire one arrow and it splits into 1,000,000 and bounces off. And it was originally meant to be like you shoot around a corner and you sometimes hit people. But people figured out that if you just if you get real close to someone and you shoot right at the ground, the shots will all open up and all of them will hit the same person. And it was one-shotting every character in the game. So you took this mid to long range character and it was making him a close range specialist. So it was completely defeating the purpose of the character and creating a lot of just shitty, one shot, I killed every character in the game.
Whoops.
So that's why I only play tanks.
Except they one-shot tanks.
Yeah, sometimes. If you really bad.
So they reworked his ability so that he has bigger damage at medium range. And it kind of puts him more into this. He's not that great as a long-range sniper anymore, and that leaves Widowmaker as a long-range sniper. But he's definitively the best mid-range damage dealer in the game right now. And as with every patch Blizzard puts out, everything's OP until they fix it. I'll never admit it in front of Tyler, but he's right. Brigitte is way too OP, and they've started kind of reeling her back a little bit. They've removed a little bit of her defensive abilities regarding her shield, or not her shield. No. Point is, she's getting looked at. She's actually really busted.
Can I ask a quick question?
Tyler said that.
Yes.
Has every Overwatch character that released since release always come out OP? Have there any bit then?
Marissa wasn't.
So let me think. Sombra sucked when she came out. She had to get tweaked a lot before she's playable now. Anna also sucked a bit. Then she was really busted when she came out of the PTR. Because they fixed her ammo count. I'm trying to remember. Orisa did she change at all? Or is she still the same as she was in PTR?
I don't think she changed at all.
They may have changed her ammo count, her rate of fire, but it really wasn't that problematic. It was more like, oh, this is an annoying thing about the character. Doomfist changed a lot, but he was just buggy because he's the flying around the map, punching people in the face character.
I think that the main big change was when he did his supercharge a punch and he hits the wall behind you, you die from that.
The issue was if you were too close to a wall, he was one-shotting everyone. They didn't want it to be too position based because it meant that he was shitty otherwise. But he wasn't too much of a problem, and now he's one of the most underplayed characters in the game. He was all hype.
Oops.
They're honestly 50-50 on who's busted and who's not.
Okay. That's fair, because League is the same thing. League champions tend to release either really weak, and then they overbuff them as people learn them, and they panic, or they just release way too strong, and then they get smashed down with a hotfix almost immediately.
Yeah, they've gotten better about releasing them closer to what the intended power level is. I know the last two they've done are healers, because Wizards. I keep saying this. Blizzard has accepted the fact that there's just not enough support characters in the game. So they've really pushed that. They're taking one of the existing support characters, Symmetra, and they're getting, because she was like the least supporty character. They're taking her, they're reworking her a second time, and they're like, fuck it, she's not a support here anymore. She's now a defense-focused character. And it's like, fucking finally, she wasn't support. So they haven't announced what they're doing with that, but they didn't announce that's in the wings. And then, as I mentioned, they are doing some.
I guess
changes
it really
to
depends.
Colony.
Recently, you can see a lot, or I don't know, with the most recent patch, I used to see a lot of Symmetras going on offense completely, just because if they're really good at movement, especially on console, which I don't play.
On console's really good because you don't have to aim.
Exactly.
Those characters are busted on console, but like if you're on PC, when you're at the lower skill level, such as myself, you see a lot of Symmetras playing just because there's not a lot of coordination, and she's really good in 1v1 scenarios.
Yeah.
But no, at the high level, she's not that amazing. They'll play her. So Symmetra's ultimate is she can create a teleporter. So the real reason people play her is on control point maps, where for the first point, the defending team spawns far away. You want her for that point so you can teleport people who die back. Once you lose that first point, you spawn close enough to the control point that no one gives a shit about Symmetra anymore. So she was very one trick in concept, and they tried to rework that at first by giving her an alternate ability where she could create a teleporter, or she can create like a shield generator. So the idea being that, if you don't really need to be traveling distances, she still has a good incentive to, I'm going to place down this object here, everyone just don't let it die. And even that wasn't enough for people to just be like, she's got one purpose and one purpose only.
Teleporters.
Yeah, so we'll see what they're going to rework. I honestly don't know there's so much about her character's identity, they can't just remove her abilities at this point. But we finally got to the point where iconic abilities of characters just don't exist anymore. Hanzo doesn't have his simple geometry shit that was in all of his cinematics. Mercy doesn't have her multi-person revive that was her, like, big gimmick for a year and a half. So they're not afraid to just destroy a character's identity and be like, these are the new abilities.
That's so funny, because League really strives to preserve, like, League does reworks once in a blue moon, but they tend to be really big reworks. Unless something is absolute dog shit, they won't do a full rework without also doing like a graphical update usually, because they do these big updates.
I feel like Blizzard is trying to get away with that a little bit more, just because they right off the bat, the game is not canon to the lore, and they've just made that statement when the game released.
Well, also, I mean, Overwatch is a much newer game, and there's a lot less legacy in Overwatch. Yeah. Plus, I feel like
until later.
Plus, am I crazy, or it seems like in Overwatch there's a lot less rigging that goes on that you have to worry about for new abilities? Like, there's a few animations, but they tend not to rework skins or anything like that.
They've done a couple skin reworks after certain complaints. Like, there was one where they designed a skin off of one of the comics that came out, and the skin was like nothing like the comic, and fans were like, what the fuck did you make? So they're like, oh, fine, we'll make it look like the comic like we said we would. But generally,
Hanzo's hair color?
Yes, where he was like graying for no apparent reason. But in terms of skins, like, I don't think they've changed too much. There's a couple where like it releases and people are concerned that it's underwhelming for its rarity or cost, and they're like, oh, we'll add more bells and whistles later.
See, but you know what I'm talking about, Freeman, in League, how they do like they're called VGUs, visual and gameplay update, and they do these massive sweeping changes. Like, just recently, Swain, he was completely reworked. All of his abilities changed, and all of his skins were radically altered to look newer.
The only thing that keeps Blizzard from changing everything is the fact that in Overwatch you have like in-game sprays, and then you have the play the game animations that are all based on what the characters do. So if you fundamentally change a character, you have the issue that these things that are in the game right now just don't make sense to the character anymore. And that's the only real issue. But like for something like Hanzo, he has a couple things related to scatter, but they're generally freely able to remove it, except for that one animation where it's all he does in that video. But they've said before that they will always do like gameplay updates first, and if the gameplay updates necessitate a graphics update, they will do it. And that's why Hanzo took so long. So like, we're going to change a core ability of him. And it was like 3 months ago, like, okay, we finally sent it to the art department to start working on like animation and special effects for this move. So they will do it. They've generally strayed away from it too much. I know with Symmetra's first rework, it was 2 whole new abilities, so they changed a bit about it, but they always try and keep everything like graphically consistent how that character should look.
That's so funny that you've already had there's already been someone in Overwatch with 2 full reworks, because the only person I can think of in League who's like that is fucking Rise. He's on his like 3rd or 4th iteration since the creation of League, because he's a champion that just never balances correctly.
Yeah, with the one I'm talking about in particular, it's just because she's always had the identity crisis. She was the shittiest supporter, and they're like, oh, well, let's just change up what she does, but keep her in the support, sort of. And now they're like, fuck it, she's not a support. We're gonna give her real abilities now. And it was always because the game launched with 3 healers and Symmetra, and in a cast of like 20 something characters, and just kept adding more and more. Like the last 3 characters have all been 3. No, the last 2 have been healers, and strong ones at that. So they're like, okay, cool, you have variety now. Fuck off. We'll go do something with Symmetra.
Yeah.
But I think that's it for Overwatch this week.
Well, I thought you skipped the other thing.
Oh, I kind of briefly mentioned. I haven't had a chance to play it, but they accidentally put out the changes to Lunar Colony, and I don't know what any of the changes are, but apparently it makes it a lot less one-sided. I'm not gonna lie, this was desperately needed. Lunar Colony sucked as a map, and if you were on it and you weren't on defense, you lost.
Yep.
That's just the way it was. Unless you were in like a coordinated 6-stack, you'd have a chance. If you were in quick play or an uncoordinated group, you just lose. There's no way around it. All the good cancer comps, turrets and shields, everything, it's impossible.
Unless the defense sucked dick.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess we can move on to Magic, and Tyler, you can go to... Oh, wait a second. Luigi's not going to fall asleep for Magic.
Tyler is already dead.
Tyler's already fallen asleep in the movie. It's for some reason he just got real tired.
Real quick about the movie that I heard Super Troopers 2 is really good.
I've heard good things too.
Is
My
it?
coworker was going to see it and missed his chance. I have no
I'm
idea.
tempted to go watch it.
I mean, we're going to see Avengers, so I'm not going to be...
You got other movie priorities.
Soon. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to see Avengers, so...
Super Troopers 2, baby!
No, but there are definitely a few minor Magic things this week. 2 of them are actually changes from the Magic... judges for Magic the Gathering have their own blog. It's like the Magic Judges blog, where they do kind of higher level rules changes that they kind of spell out.
And it's
in
extra
blog posts.
Sweaty.
One of them is actually 2 of them are both of them here are pretty big deals. I'd say the second one, the one that is a pretty big deal, because it's kind of the closest thing we've ever had to Wizards acknowledging card stock issues. I think we commented on this before, Freeman, how...
Yeah, we were talking about it last week.
There was someone who was actually disqualified from an official tournament, like a GP or something, Luigi.
Oh, because of the foils?
Yes,
yeah.
He was running Kess Dissident Mage, my favorite commander. She sees some legacy play right now, and she's only ever been printed in foil, but so many of these newer foils have radically bad warping issues. And one guy had it so bad that he was disqualified from a GP because of marked cards, even though it was just natural foil warping of Kess. So Channel Fireball announced, if you go to a GP and you have a card that was only printed in foil, you can go to the head judge and he will make a proxy for you that you are allowed to use. According to the Wizards judge blog, that is now official policy at competitive events.
That's pretty solid.
Except for the fact that it needs to exist.
Except this is an actual issue. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I saw this coming a mile away when they first announced that going forward, all commanders, the actual real card size one was foil. I was like, you know what? I've seen enough bad foil curls to know this is not going to end well 5 years from now. And it hasn't even been 5 years since that card was printed, and this is already becoming an issue.
Kess was printed last year at some point and only started getting into people's hands last fall.
I mean, unless people are planning on triple sleeving.
Oh my god, I fucking hate triple sleeving. Don't even
feel
that it's an option.
Okay, hold on. I've double sleeved all of my commander decks.
Double sleeving is fine.
I will never in my life triple sleeve. That is crazy.
I've played against a triple sleeve deck once, and it was just the most disgusting thing.
Have you ever played like with those fucking plastic cards?
You're not talking about using like the hard card protectors over a double sleeved card, are you?
I've seen that before. It is
That's just
worse.
Oh my god.
We were holding a Magic Gathering event. I was part of the gamer club. I didn't actually help, but I did show up to play Magic. I guess that's good enough right? Yeah. Okay. But we were hosting the event, and I think it was for Return to Ravnica, that block, and the winner of the event gets a box, and then people in the club get free cards, and I'm like, shit, I'm gonna go to that. But the second place winner had a full like plastic cartridge.
Oh my
You gotta be kidding me.
god.
No,
There's
This
no
guy was-
way someone could play with this. Like I remember one time I ordered a bunch of singles and they all came in the hard
Yep,
top
and
loaders.
you immediately
had-
chuck them to the side.
No,
Yeah,
so I had 6 or 7. So I'm like, let me see what it's like to shuffle these or like shuffle my hand with these. And it was the most miserable experience of my life. I'm like, how the fuck can someone do this with 60 cards?
I don't know, but he was struggling. Don't get me. He was. It's like why are there so many lime scenario.
Dude, I struggle with double-sleeved commanders at this point. 100 double-sleeved cards? It's not. It's.
He's
I
got,
couldn't
he's got
handle
those
more than
big
this.
old Yowie hands.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that's a big deal that this rule change happened. I hope it encourages Wizards to maybe make foils less shit. Freeman, you can talk about the other big Judge blog announcement thing, though.
So this was a big controversy a couple weeks ago where someone had a Dryad Arbor hidden among their lands. And for any listener who doesn't know what this is, in Future Sight, when they were printing all these weird cool cards, they printed the first of its kind. It was
And
everyone knows
only,
what-
for sure.
Yeah, this is the
will
only time
never
it's ever
get
been.
brother and
So
brother and
at that point in
sister
time, they'd already made the concept of manlands, which are lands that can be activated to become creatures, but they never printed a creature that's also a land. So they printed Dryad Arbor, this 1/1 for 0 that's technically a land creature all the time. And the thing is, when they did, was it From the Vault Lands or Realms, they printed a version of Dryad Arbor that quite literally just looks like a forest. So a lot of players were just keeping them among their lands because it's standard practice. And there was one game where someone went to go swing for lethal, and he just kind of like pulls this Dryad Arbor out from his stack of forest. And like, oh, I blocked my Dryad Arbor, and it's like, what the fuck was that? So Aaron Forsyth has been pretty vocal about it on Wizards social media about this. And
Who is he for everyone at home?
I'm trying to remember what his actual role is. He's like the actual head of Wizards of the Coast. Like we always talk about Morrow just because he's like the most vocal member of Wizards of the Coast. But let me look up his actual.
I'm looking right now. Aaron Forsyth on Twitter. He's the senior game design director of Magic. So
There
he's
you go.
he's above Morrow, I think.
Yeah, he is. He's the top dog when it comes to making design decisions.
He's pretty far fucking up there.
But that said, he's been pretty vocal about how they want to do something about this, and the solution they came up with is that for the first time ever in Magic's history, we have what are effectively zones to play cards in. The running joke for the longest time was that it used to be, you play lands first and then your creatures. Wizards has defined that non-land permanents must be in front of land permanents. They did clarify that non-creature permanents can be hanging out in the back if they're very explicitly mana producers, but they said a card such as Dryad Arbor or an activated man land must be kept separate from the lands to distinguish that there is some difference. So they're not very explicitly saying like these cards go here, these go here, your deck's on the left, not like that, but it's just you need to have them spread out so that way it's clear to your opponent. In addition to this, they did clarify that some things that used to be derived information need to be announced, such as if you have City's Blessing for Ixalan or
That's a
Rivals
big
of
one.
Ixalan specifically.
That's a
It
huge
used
one.
to just be that everyone had to figure it out. So if you had it and you knew you had it, you did not have to tell your opponent. They had to figure it out in order to make decisions. But like you could lower your number of permanents and still have City's Blessing. Your opponent, unless they were picking that's what, or unless they were paying attention to your permanent count, they wouldn't know. Now it's something you have to announce when you game. So it just increases the clarity of what's going on in the game. There's gameplay changes.
For those of you at home, and Luigi, you might not know this because you probably don't know Ixalan that well.
Nope.
City's Blessing is a new ability that's triggered. It's something like an emblem. You get it when you cast when you have any card that has the keyword Ascend on it, which means if you have 10 or more permanents when you either like cast an instant or sorcery that has Ascend, or if at any point any permanent you have with the word Ascend on it, if you hit 10 permanents, just 10 permanents, any of them, you then immediately get the City's Blessing, which makes every card with Ascend better, and there's no trigger or anything. You just have it. It just happens. So this was this really weird thing where as soon as you had 10 permanents, if you cast a card with Ascend, you had the city's blessing with nothing to respond to, and it just did the ascend thing.
Okay.
So it was this weird thing where you could instantly have a bonus to your spells without your opponent knowing about it and being able to react. So it worked with the rules, but it was one of those kind of like, it's a little scummy to not
People
tell
trying
your
to be
opponent.
sneaky boys.
Yeah, it's the same thing with
That's
Dryad
it.
Arbor. People were trying to be sneaky and hide it, like Freeman said, and yeah, and it was bullshit. It's like one of those things of, come on, we're trying to, let's not play this way.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like in tournaments, you're supposed to stack so the names are available, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even with that, that used to be enough. At least when I got to play at Gamers Gambit, that was enough to put things in. I can see why it would hurt a lot of people.
Oh, for sure. But side note on your thing, Freeman, that you were talking on the Dryad Arbor bit.
Yeah.
There are some minor exceptions to it. You still can't hide Dryad Arbor, but you can kind of shuffle things around if you're playing like Dredge and you have a massive graveyard where you need to show every graveyard card.
Hi.
Yeah.
So they're not going to like hard rule you must have everything laid out like this, but it really, they basically have backing for punishing people who try to pull shit like, oh, my Dryad Arbor was in my lands, why didn't you know that?
Yeah.
And our last, it's not really news, but it's worth talking about since we had a banned and restricted announcement from Wizards last week. For whatever reason, the Commander one was a week late, but Commander banned and restricted update yesterday. No changes.
Bullshit. I expected Yargles to be on this ban list today.
No, let's just start unbanning things like Crystal Brand.
So, fuck you. Just you wouldn't have been able to win it with me. Oh no, he's only banned in Commander, isn't he? Because you couldn't have used it for Spike when we did Unstable.
That's correct.
The only thing, and this is a selfish reason, I want Gifts Ungiven to come off the banned list, only because I really want to run the Jace copy in my Kess deck. The Jace's Spellbook one.
Yeah.
That looks super pretty. I don't have anywhere to play it. I really wish I could fucking run it in Kess, but I can't. Oh well.
No.
I think they also announced that like old block constructed formats are not like officially acknowledged by Wizard anymore.
Block constructed is now a dead thing. Wizards does not acknowledge block constructed anymore as an actual live format.
Well, it was already pretty dead, but I think this just means they're no longer going to carry
completely dead.
They're no longer going to carry like ban lists for them or anything anymore.
That's probably what it is. Like, just throw it all in the trash.
Yeah, but
Some
that means
wiki has it.
But that means that Spike just got way worse.
Oh my god. The ban list still exists. Oh no, I guess if it's not an official
it
Wizards
might go
ban
away.
list. How many block constructed cards were helping Spike though? I'm sure someone made a list on the subreddit already. I don't fucking know. Speaking of I don't know, let's talk about something that no one understands.
Oh man, that sounds like it's time for the weeb shit. All right, so
I understand.
There's like nothing going on this week. We are at there's 2 times in every 12-week season where nothing happens, and we're in the middle of the first of it. Where
we're also in the week of no news that really matters.
Yeah, I don't know why. Literally nothing's happening this week.
I was gonna say this is kind of news. God of War released last week, the new one.
It looks good.
Tyler and Leslie have been playing it a lot.
It is getting very good reviews. I'm watching a Let's Play of it because I don't have a PS4, but I'm still interested.
Is it only for PS4?
Oh yeah,
dude. Yeah, Sony owns it.
Stupid.
Yep.
No, it's not.
No, I don't have a PS4.
There's your incentive.
I like money, and I'm going to Oregon this summer.
Oh,
wait,
for real?
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna meet up with Ryan. We're gonna hike 1 week of the PCT.
Cool.
Wait, when did he start?
Ryan. He started.
Wasn't it like March?
In March.
So he's going till September?
Oh yeah, I know. He's going all the way. We're just gonna meet up with him for 1 week.
Yeah, no. I'm just trying to figure out like how far in he will have been when you go see him.
No clue. All I know is we're going to Oregon.
Depends how fast he goes.
He's gonna slow down for me and my buddy Ryan's our lack of everything, especially mine.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be pretty jacked and ready to go. at that point. If he's
Yep.
still going, he's going to be like, yeah, I'm just ready to take about 10 miles every few hours. Yeah, we're good. We're
Want to
good.
go bench some rocks?
Oh my god.
But yeah, Freeman, keep going with the weeb.
So what was I even talking about here? I had to close on those. So this news came in today. This one is not something I thought I'd be talking about, but popular manga, The Promised Neverland, is getting a TV anime. I know very little about this show other than the fact that the manga is consistently in the top 10 of Shonen Jump, among Hero Academia, among Food Wars, among all these other shows I love. So there's got to be something good going on here.
Yeah, really.
What I do know is the art style is very unique. And unlike the other shows I mentioned, this is not a battle anime. This is, I'm going to describe it as a mystery anime, but it's a mystery in the way that Death Note was. It was one of those cat and mouse, figure out who's behind it kind of things.
That's kind of cool.
And apparently it's been going on for a while, and they haven't really lost their edge of mystery yet. So I'm kind of itching for a show like that. I'll be very excited when this comes out, but they're doing their early kind of, well, here's the date of the date. We're going to announce something.
Oh
But
my god.
they've already bought out all the websites, and they opened a Twitter for the Promised Neverland -anime.jp. So that's all happening. It's just going to get announced any day now.
Woo.
There's one other announcement today I want to. Yes, all right. So I talked about it before. The manga Grand Blue is getting its anime adaptation. I'm very excited. It's about college students, which you don't see a lot of shows about.
You do not. That's
But
okay.
What's important is the voice cast is getting announced, and there's a lot of hype surrounding who it's going to be, because this is one of those manga that's just been like just waiting for its adaptations. There's some hype about who it's going to be. I've got my laundry list of which voice actors I want to see in this, but inevitably we're all going to be disappointed anyway.
That-
That's why I didn't put it in here.
Black.
Oh, okay.
What were you just saying about college anime, Luigi?
You don't see a lot of them. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Just that not a lot of people in Japan go to college, so high school is like the last common experience every person has. So they're just like, fuck it.
Not a lot of
High school.
people where go to college?
Japan. Not everyone goes to college. A lot of people either go right into work or trade school.
I did not know that.
Like
I assumed
don't
everyone went to college.
like they don't have this obsession that you need a college degree to do something that doesn't actually require a college degree. Like you can go into being like a business person who just works in Excel spreadsheets without going to college for 4 years. to do
You
that.
don't need a physics license to operate a Keurig. Got it.
Anyway,
Okay.
we're finally starting to see that trend of not high school anime showing up. I think between 2 seasons ago, having MMO Junkie and the new season having that one about the working couple who are both nerds, they're starting to realize there's a market for anime fans who aren't high schoolers anymore. So
They probably also appeal more outside of Japan.
a little bit, especially because the big anime watching group is in their early to mid 20s right now. Like the Toonami kids that we fall in the group of.
So us, yeah.
Yeah, us. We're the primary anime demographic right now. I don't think it's as skewed towards teenagers as it was
Are
when
we
we were
losers,
in high school.
guys?
Oh, we've always
No,
been
we're
losers. This
weebs.
isn't new.
Uh,
Luigi, our topic is D&D stories. Come on.
oh, good point. It's
My God. Speaking of other sad, depressing shit, Waifu Wars 3, which I talked about in depth
Oh,
last week,
Jesus.
has ended prematurely. It was ridiculous. So
just like all the fans.
Poor K.
last week, unnecessary drama broke apart our main character, everyone's favorite waifu 02, and then girl who shouldn't have gotten blamed Ichigo, but everyone blamed her anyway. And in this episode, there's a very distinct moment where Ichigo accepts the fact that the main character is totally in love with this other character and isn't even thinking of her. And she's just like, fine, I accept this. I'll help you reunite with other girl. And spoiler alert, the main two characters reunite after one episode of trouble. So, the waifu wars have been definitively decided. Ichigo has lost. I now have to walk away, tail between my legs, and just accept the fact that I was wrong, and the rest of the internet, who's sending out fucking death threats to the voice actors, were totally justified
Oh my
on that.
God, no.
So, Luigi, you weren't here last week. People were so mad that one girl won over the other that they were sending out threats left and right. The official dubcast, who hadn't recorded the episode yet, had to say that they're already disappointed with the fans.
I mean,
Good.
I've always been. That's why I don't talk about anime a lot. It's, Oh, I think we are too normal compared to.
Don't lump
That
me in with those
demographic.
normies.
Oh, okay. Except for you, Friedman. You can go join them. The way you described that the love scenario just made me think of like, sorry, Rem, I love Amelia, and I just got like fuzzies all over because I want to watch
Horrible
it.
flashbacks.
It's
Oh, since you watched Ari's Arc, talking about this, they delayed the OVA until October. Yeah, I know. It's supposed to come out during the summer, and there was a lot of speculation that the end of the OVA was going to announce when season 2 is starting. So we're gonna have to hold off a bit for that.
It has to happen. I love that. It's like top 5 anime.
But the trailer came out for the dub, and unlike what I usually say, they fucking nailed the main character for the dub. Like, I did not think they'd get anyone good for it. And it turns out his voice actor is active on the anime subreddit and was doing like an impromptu AMA in the announcement thread.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
So he's really excited about this. I'm excited about this. If Adult Swim gets it, I'm convinced Ari Zero is just going to explode in popularity, which is exactly what I want to happen. That show's fucking great.
That's actually some related news. Toonami announced that they're picking up My Hero.
Yeah, they're getting the simuldub really close to when it aired in Japan. This is highly irregular and very appreciated.
There you go. There's some news, Freeman. I added to Weeb shit.
I completely forgot because we're so concerned with the subtitle. We give no shits about the dub right now.
Hey. I don't dislike
no.
the dub.
I'm not saying we dislike. I'm saying we don't care about the dub schedule because we've got the sub to watch.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I accept this.
Yeah. And the last announcement is that
dub is for casuals.
Oh my god.
The Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn OVA series just ended. Apparently the finale was really good. I have not watched it yet because for anyone who doesn't know about the Gundam series, is there's one timeline that's been going on since 1960 whenever, when the original Gundam came out. The beginning. And it was like Mobile Suit Gundam, Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, Mobile Suit Double Zeta, and
quadruple.
There's always been this timeline of continuous things going back from the original Gundam called Universal Century. Every once in a while, and by once in a while I mean like pretty much every other year, they will go and they'll make a new series that's in its own timeline. So G Gundam, Gundam Wing, Gundam Seed, Gundam 00, or the most recent one, Iron Blood Orphans. They're all their own universes. They can be watched independently from the main series. You don't need to know anything about it. You just need to know Gundams are robots. But Gundam Unicorn was the most recent one in the main series, and everyone told me, no, you need to have a fundamental understanding of everything leading up to that point to truly appreciate this.
Of course.
That said, it was already amazing, and I want to watch it because I've seen clips of the fights, and it looks hype as fuck. But it just ended, and then they announced a new series, which is a continuation of Gundam Unicorn, will be coming out. Also in that OVA format, so basically like one long episode a year. And once again, much like I was inspired 6 or 7 years ago, I now want to get back into the Universal Century Gundam series. Because I've already watched the first Mobile Suit Gundam, which was really slow. I started Zeta Gundam. I need to pick it up again. But it is a lot of shit to watch just to watch some fancy-looking OVAs. But I want to believe I can do it. Will I? Absolutely not.
You just gotta believe.
8 years from now, when they announce Gundam Unicorn 3, then I'll say literally the same thing. But that's it for the weeb shit.
What? No, it's not.
What?
We have to actually talk about the animes.
What? Oh, shit.
What are you fucking...
No one's fucking saying anything.
Okay.
All right.
Hold on. No, we agreed that we could at least talk about Food Wars.
It wasn't written down. I thought we were done. We can... All right, you know what? That's not it for the weeb shit. But wait, there's more.
I'm making it stick...
For 3 easy payments of $25.95, Tim can spoil Food Wars for us.
No, I'm not going to spoil Food. No. Oh, my God. I'm actually... Fuck, you just reminded me. There's actually such a big spoiler this week in Food Wars, and I'm so mad. Holy shit. I'm actually... Freeman, goddammit, you reminded me that I'm supposed to be really disappointed you guys didn't watch Food Wars. Fuck.
Yeah, well,
I'm glad I was able to remind you.
I watched the first 2. I didn't watch the 3rd episode.
No, I know, but there's such a massive
Oh, don't spoil the 3rd episode. It only just came out.
Wait, is it the one where the kid with glasses gets killed? I'm messing. No one dies in this show. Despite all the fire and knife fights in the opening, no one gets hurt.
We've heard from like 4 separate times.
He's got his own research lab.
So for the first time and last time in the history of the podcast, I'm the only one who watched either new anime that we give a shit about. As a group, we give a shit about these two. Well, Tyler and Leslie don't
These
care
two
about
in
Food Wars.
particular.
Well, that's the
the
thing.
most.
Season 2 of Hero Academia and Season 3 of Food Wars had both ended by when I got you guys started on them.
Well,
So,
okay, but
this
they
is-
didn't pick
It was
up
a fun
Food Wars.
season.
Okay, first off, let's say since you're on here, Food Wars season starting off right. I think it's starting off strong.
I think the start was very good. I mean, granted, it left us on a huge fucking cliffhanger
Oh yeah, it did.
that we had to wait, and
mid-season.
I like squealed like a child listening to those words come out of his mouth.
Yo, it's great.
He's
Yeah,
my
it's like-
dad. It's
He's
too
my
much.
dad. Nani.
that was the Nani moment.
Episode 2 really addresses that more than the first
Yeah.
one. So it's
No, it's starting off real good.
Yeah.
The whole
it's like
all the little team
this
ups.
is like it wasn't too intense, but it's 2 episodes of like decent build, and then we're gonna go into heavy competition. And I'm like, fuck
So-
yeah.
I'll say one thing. It's kind of a spoiler, not really. Episode 3 is when you start understanding a lot more of the intro. Because the intro is just crazy, like, what the fuck are these trains and why are certain characters all over the place? You understand a lot more about why things are the way they are in episode 3.
Interesting.
I would
Oh
say
my
that's
God.
not really a spoiler.
There's
So
some
I would classify. I
amazing
wouldn't say
scenes.
that's a spoiler, but that is
Oh my god.
that
it's
just makes me
so-
hyped to watch it later tonight.
You really need to. You should
Mm.
message after you've seen it because there's some fucking awesome stuff in the episode.
Oh, like now that tax season's over, I'm just watching anime all night and
Hell
morning
yeah.
and getting 4 hours of sleep still.
No.
But yeah, Food Wars was a lot of fun this week, and the second half of season 3 is
Season
going really well.
3.5. Yeah, it's
And then I was the
good.
only one to watch fucking My Hero because somehow you guys resisted not watching it. Val and I watch it by 2:00 in the afternoon before I go to the game store at this
Hey,
point.
Look.
I wanted to watch Laid Back Camp.
Oh, did you watch all of it?
Almost all of them. On the
The
last
show's
2.
really good.
It's
Oh
so
my
good.
god.
Oh,
so
but
Fuck
awesome.
you.
So way back before I used to actually watch anime with my friends,
Oh,
Food
God.
Wars was the show I watched on Saturdays when I ate lunch, and Hero Academia was the show I watched on Sundays when I ate lunch. That was just the way it was when they first came out, because they were both, I think, the same season. And then gradually my friends were like, Andrew, stop fucking watching episode first, just wait for us. And after 2 seasons of each, I'm like, fine. I will have some self-control and wait till Mondays. Only
I don't
to watch-
understand how you can.
Oh, it's real
My Hero-
fucking hard.
My
real
Hero,
hard.
especially.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this last episode of My Hero, holy shit.
The way I
Oh
ignore
my
it is by
God.
watching more anime than I could possibly actually watch as a real human being. That's
mean,
why I'm
like,
watching 25 shows at the same time.
I love My Hero so much because when you guys were all talking about it in the fucking Facebook chat, I had no idea what you were talking about because I don't like superheroes, as you can tell by me not wanting to go watch the Marvels because I think heroes are cheesy and
What
only
are-
villains should rule.
what are your thoughts on the League of Villains?
Oh,
They're the
Dude.
coolest people ever.
Luigi, I can already tell you if you want to see all the League of Villains shit, you better start fucking watching My Hero.
I watched all of My Hero. That is the only
No,
superhero
I'm saying
genre.
watch season 3 shit.
I'm gonna watch it. I just gotta finish the other ones first.
Oh my god. There's
Can't-
some League of
I have
Villains
to.
shit.
I don't just like watch and wait. I binge. That's how.
Yeah, I understand,
It's
but
very
like,
unhealthy.
yeah, but when people are watching it every week, it's like you got to keep up because you got to talk about it because it's so fucking cool.
I watched both seasons of My Hero, the first 2, in like 3 or 4 days. So,
Yeah, so did me and Val.
So
And
it's-
now
yeah.
we're
that
like,
was
we got to watch.
that was my
every
party
week.
gift when I visited you guys. Is I left you with the seed of inspiration to continue
really
watching the
did.
show. And by the time I got back, you guys had already cleared season 1.
Yep. Yeah, you and Leslie were driving back to New Jersey, and we'd already finished season 1 before you. Oh man, I'm sad we can't talk about it more, but man, oh man, they are both so on fire right now. It's really hype.
Yeah, this is the season. This is the anime season.
It's going to explode.
I mean, this is also the first season Val and I are watching actively while it's coming out. Like, we caught the end of My Hero and Food Wars
You just gotta watch more
last
anime.
season.
Yeah, this is where it begins.
No, right now we're actually recapping Marvel movies. We're gonna watch the first Avengers tonight.
No,
We
don't
watched
watch that.
Captain
It's
America
not- those aren't
yesterday,
really
Iron Man
good.
before that. Dude, fuck you.
I like Iron Man, and that was like the only one I enjoyed.
So side note, we rewatched the first Iron Man the other day. Like I said,
Yeah.
that movie still holds up. Man, I saw that movie
Still
in
a good
theaters
movie.
twice. Still a good movie. Still
Yeah, the
a
first
lot
Iron
of
Man
fun.
was great. I don't know what happened to the second one. I was lost.
Oh no,
yeah.
I know. No, it legitimately the whole Marvel universe owes the fact that Iron Man 1 was such a good movie to its existence. Because if Iron Man 1 wasn't that good, it would have been a lot harder for the Marvel universe to take off. Anyway, I think we're done with Weeb shit since these two both didn't watch any shows that matter. So,
All right. That's it for the Weeb shit.
We're gonna take our break, go get a drink, and when we come back, we're gonna do D&D stories with Luigi here, since Luigi knows a lot of stories from back in my D&D days before we even met, or well, me and Freeman re-met, but you know.
Before we consistently started hanging out.
I knew Freeman.
Before this squad was established, the old school D&D group.
I actually just found that. Why do you always cut like to commercial when it just continues afterwards?
Well, I mean, I just say that we're cutting, but it's so that there's no abrupt cuts for any reason.
Okay.
All right.
That's just curious.
And we're back. Ready
Hey
to
there.
tell some of our ye olde D&D stories.
Ye olde.
We have a wide swath of stories that we're planning on telling today. Some large, some small, and some antagonistic.
It's like someone just spilled salt everywhere.
So I'm gonna
Let's
tell
play
this
Overwatch
story.
in here.
I'm gonna tell our first story, and then Luigi can take over when it gets to the more him focused part of the story.
Go for it.
So, me and Luigi were in this game. Oh, what was it? 2 years ago now?
Yeah, it's about 2 years ago.
Because it was during summer of 2016,
a little bit longer,
right?
Actually.
Wasn't it during the summer?
We
playing
started
out by the pool.
towards the spring. Kind of went. I think I finished one semester and I was on summer break. So yeah, you're probably right.
Regardless, about 2 years ago, a former friend and DM of ours was running a game with a girl with me, Luigi, my girlfriend, and her, and his girlfriend at the time. Was there anybody else? Was Ed in it?
No. I think
Okay.
Ed joined us for like one session because
One
he was
session.
in town.
No, he tried to be because he wanted to be my number 2. He was my number 2, but the guy's girlfriend was working to supplant him to become my number 2.
Is this kind of like what happened when we were doing vampires, where just Ed was inconsistently available?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
I think we did this game for such a short time that he was there for most
We
of
weren't
them.
able to finish it.
Oh, for sure not. So anyway, we're doing a fairly small game. It's the DM, his girlfriend that he had recently started dating after breaking up with his girlfriend of a long time. Me, my girlfriend, and Luigi, and our friend Ed.
I feel
who we've
very
mentioned on the podcast.
very fifth wheelish right now when you laid it out like that.
What do you mean? I said you and Ed.
I-
if anything, you and Ed
and
share the
Ed
wheel.
and I can be like, just pretend Ed and I are dating because we basically are. I think.
So anyway, the game is a pirate-based game where we are a band of pirates. I was a captain. I don't know if didn't we all start out like on a slave ship? We'd been captured or something.
Yeah,
As
we were
always, these
captured.
games start.
And
I was the captain. Our friend Ed was my lackey, super subservient number 2. And then everyone else kind of did their own thing.
I was the rogue.
And it was really awesome. Luigi was the rogue. I forget what Val was playing, and the guy's girlfriend was she was a warrior or something. I don't even remember what her role was, but she, like I said, was trying to supplant our friend Ed to be my second in command when we got the ship because I was captain of it. My name is Captain Cold. I was the
Captain Cold.
I was I forget what class it was. It was one of the ones from the SRD wiki.
Frost
It was like
Titan?
a Frost Warrior or something. My story was that I had been frozen in an iceberg after being abandoned by my crew. Or something had happened, and I had been frozen in an iceberg. And when I was freed, I had ice powers. That's basically the in-universe thing that they
But
kind
when
of
the world
suggested.
needed him most, he vanished.
Oh my god. Anyway. So we're ditzing around. We're like 3 sessions in, and we had just taken over a ship. Remember, we were on our little dinghy, and a bunch of raiders came at us, and we actually counterattacked them and stole their boat.
Fuck him.
It was an awesome session, and we were totally kicking ass. And between that session and our next session we got to play in, the DM broke up with this awesome girl who we all liked universusally. I think that's fair to say, Luigi. Like, we were all.
I will not
for
make
her?
no comments.
Wait, what?
In case this is watched.
We're already.
This is what,
Luigi.
like 1 year before I started hanging out with you guys again?
Okay.
Well, also,
yes.
it's not like
yes.
It's not like
yes.
they won't know who they are. We're too late.
Yes.
He made the first move anyway, so fuck it. Whatever. They broke up. He broke up with her and went back to his former girlfriend. And she joined our campaign. The first girl who had been playing had been a human girl who was working with the party. And his former, now again current girlfriend at the time, decided to play something a little different. He let her play a tentacled fish Cthulhu monster. And Luigi, why don't you pick up the story from here, because it gets really good.
All right.
Oh, let me set the scene again. Actually, the very ending of our last session had been Luigi had broken his leg during our raiding of the other boat. So we had to leave him on the boat to rest and recover while the rest of us went to the island that we had just arrived at, and we had said we get off the boat. We went shopping for like 5 minutes, and then we ended the session, and then they broke up. So that's setting the scene for the first session for this girl to come back.
All right. So I'm on the boat. I'm being left. We were going to begin our next session. I was running 30 minutes late because I had to help my family with something. Most likely that's the case. I wouldn't really want to be late to D&D otherwise. When I arrive, all I know is I found out that this the new old girlfriend, was on the boat with me. And the DM allowed her to pluck out both of my eyeballs and to leave me blind and broken on the boat, where I would have to...
Wait, you didn't get to roll to, like, stop this from happening?
Nope, I was
he was
not
quote-unquote
there.
asleep.
I was 30 minutes late to D&D.
He was asleep.
What?
Yep, so I was left there, and then I was told, like, okay, well, my character was a very stealthy, agile cat, and now Catman, and now I
you were a
can't
cat,
do
yeah.
anything. Yeah, I was some kind of lynx
You were kind of like a Khajiit.
Yep, and like my gimmick was I don't pick locks with pick-locking tools, even though they give me a +2 bonus. I only use my nails, which give me a -2 bonus. And that's the only reason we escaped the slave ship to begin with, and I thought that was awesome. So,
Yep.
So I was useless for an entire session. I had to be carried around everywhere.
Oh no.
And we had to go to one person only, which was the only priestess who could actually heal both my eyes and my legs. So I spent this entire session sitting down in my chair, not rolling anything because I couldn't see and I couldn't move. And that's like 3 hours of me sitting down, so you can imagine the salt, and it wasn't coming from the sea. So when we're sailing over this fucking priestess who, okay, I think I had a fairly high charisma score. The cat came with a +2 bonus to charisma, so I put points in there like I always do. And I'm like, hey, can you please heal me? I'm willing to pay money. And what the new old girlfriend did was to convince the priestess and the entire temple that we were trying to destroy the relics of her god and not to heal us or help us in any way. And I remember because the DM said, can you please just let them, get fixed? Like, as though he had no control over this game. The god of this universe had no control. She said, no, I want this to happen. And so it was allowed. And to where the priestess sicked all her comrades or cultists on us, and I still couldn't do anything. The game only ended because The new old girlfriend, let her race the Cthulhu monster had like ridiculous stats to go with
of course.
it. I think it was a mind flayer.
Probably. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so ridiculous intelligence, charisma, strength, fucking dumb. Dumb. To where like 23 to convince you to help me for money? And it's like 57 to say no. Kill them instead. Not much you can do there. So there's my salt. And then
So
after that session, we didn't have another one. I
so I'm
fucking
pretty
wonder
sure
why.
you've. I don't remember a number of the things that same way. The way Val and I have always told the story, and I feel like I remember this being more what it was. We went to the priestess, and she went to a different church. And while we were traveling to the priestess, she broke into a different church, tried to steal their relics and convince them to worship Cthulhu, was arrested by the guard. We came back from our errand while she was being escorted by the guards, and when she passed us, she pointed at us and screamed, "They're my accomplices," and the guards attacked us, and she ran away in the confusion and left us to fight the guards who had arrested her. She ran back to the temple and this time successfully convinced them to become a Cthulhu cult.
That may
And
have
then-
happened if she did. I assumed the guards were just members of the clergy.
No,
that
she
the
had
priestess
totally
was
been
a part of.
arrested.
Because
I
I
remember
remember is like
distinctly.
the priestess was refusing to heal me.
I
It was
distinctly
refusing to
remember
heal me because of
her
her
being
charisma check.
arrested and being brought around through town, and her screaming, telling the guards that we were her accomplices, and they tried to kill us, and she ran away and left us to die.
Yeah, that may be correct. She could have been arrested. I was not paying attention because I was
That's fair.
on my phone.
You still couldn't do anything at the time.
Yep.
That's totally fair.
My brain turned on and it's like, oh, I now have the option to try to heal my legs and eyeballs. Fantastic.
We
Let
then
me
tried
start
to
with that.
We then tried to meet with the bandit warlord who we had been at the island to meet with in the first place, but the session didn't continue much after that, and she just was doing her Cthulhu thing and literally never met up with us again after she sicked the guards on us. So yeah, that sucked.
Yep.
I feel like that DM just seems to like letting bad things happen to players without any of their input.
Well,
Oh,
it's not even
well.
that. It's more that he was like not willing to put his foot down to his then reestablished girlfriend and just be like, "You're being fucking ridiculous." And this set the tone for her entire D&D career, Luigi, I think it's fair to say.
Yep.
The consistent efforts to never be involved with the group and either do whatever she wanted, drawing or on her phone, or going off and doing her own dumb bullshit when people would let her. Like when okay, Luigi, you remember Alira that we did for a little while?
Yes.
Wasn't that
The
game fun?
cleric that didn't help anyone or involve themselves because they were a pacifist.
Except when her boyfriend told her to.
Right.
What is he doing? I will do the same thing. Actually, that's a good quick story. This is a game that I did pretty soon after, I think, actually.
Yeah, it was like a couple, maybe a month afterwards.
But it was like
started
the
it.
next game or the next game after that pirate game. I offered to run a game, and I had 3 choices, and you guys picked the Alira game.
Yes.
Good, that's what we're talking about. All right, good.
So, I started this game. This is based on a Jim Butcher who does the Dresden Files. He did a 6-book series called the Codex Alira. Alira, I don't really know how to pronounce it. And it's about, just as a quick synopsis, it's actually a really cool series. I'm actually rereading it right now because I thought of this game a little while ago. It's a Roman legion. There's a story about how like an entire Roman legion went missing during a storm in the Mediterranean or something. And in this book, they wash up on this totally different world, and for some reason they're able to bond with local, basically elementals of like water, metal, earth, wind, and wood, I think are like the 5.
And fire.
And fire, you're correct, 6. And it's really cool. Apparently, I think I told you guys during the game, Luigi, Jim Butcher had apparently done this on a bet that he could write a story that combined Roman Legionnaires and Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's actually a really fun series. It's really a good time. So I started this game in that they were kind of taking a lot of the events of the books stem from this battle where the son of the first lord gets killed. And the books take place like 15 years later. They start 15 years later and they go on to like 25 years later. I had the game set about 3 years later in the same valley that the first book takes place in. And the whole way that the game started was the cast of characters were steed holders, they're called, who just worked like a farm or herded animals or something like that in this rough and tough valley. And some merchants were traveling through the valley, and these guys heard them being robbed, and they ran in and saved the merchants. And someone, High Lord, heard about it and sent someone to recruit them to do a secret job, right, Luigi?
Yep.
So the envoy arrives with this wind carriage, which is this cool thing where the guys who have wind, they're called Furies, wind Furies, they all strap on a harness and they basically carry a flying carriage that people can ride in. It's actually a really cool mode of transport for like rich and powerful people. And they had this guy come and offer them a carriage ride out of their lives as farmers to come work for this mysterious benefactor. Guess who the one person who didn't want to get in the carriage was?
Was it
No,
me?
I'd rather stay here and keep being a farmer. So I had the guy who came to get them knock this girl out and throw her in the carriage with everybody
It
else.
set a very strange tone because this guy he didn't come off as threatening us until he just runs up and fucking knocks out one of the party members.
Oh, you were there for that?
Yes, I was in this.
Oh my god, you're right. I'm so sorry, Freeman.
Yes.
I forgot.
Yeah, no, this is my.
That was a big game.
Except for the short campaign we did with Luigi, that was my first like real campaign with you guys.
Right. Yes, you were there for Alira, of course. Oh my god, I'm sorry. That was the biggest DM game I've ever done.
Yeah, no, what
we had what?
One of my favorite
4,
stories
5,
is coming
6,
up from
7
this
people.
one.
Oh no, Freeman, if you'd like to tell a story now,
Oh no,
go right ahead.
no, because it takes place at the end of when we're doing this campaign. So I want to let you get through anything related to that.
No, that was it. That was the story of how this one person with the campaign hook in front of them and everyone else agreeing and happy to go and get excited to get started is like, no, I want to stay. Like, fuck
Yeah, it was real annoying.
you.
I remember she got written out of the plot at one point because she just stopped appearing. But
Yeah, I think I wrote her out. I was like, fuck you. You sit behind and do nothing.
I think like she's like, I'm gonna stay here, and you're just like, yeah, okay. And that was just
I
what
said,
happened.
yep. I was like, fuck it, fine. You're on the mission with the group already. Fuck
Like
it. If you
that,
don't want
I
to do
think.
anything, I'm not
I
gonna
remember
make
I
you.
re-rolled a character completely because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be the cleric of the group
Yes.
and heal
Oh, that's right, because we didn't have a healer, and then we got it back,
Yeah.
and you're like, what?
Yeah, and then this individual was wanted to be the cleric and heal people, but then didn't, and I already made a new character, and so I just like, oh, by the way, I was never actually a dual wielding warrior. No, just I was always a cleric. Didn't you guys know?
By the way, that was a lot of fun in that campaign because I got to play with the classes and how magic works because everyone has these furies, but they all manifest differently. So I kind of tried to work in the lore of the game in addition with how everyone could use their powers. Like water is healing. So I always had it that the clerics had to have water on hand to like actually heal people, but they could also do stuff with the water.
For reference, listeners, the best way that I described these Furies was like if you took the stands from JoJo, but they all had bending abilities from Avatar, and everyone had one.
Sure.
That could do a couple.
No, they could
different
have
things.
more than one. They could have more than one.
We had each
Oh
had
yeah,
two.
you're right. We had two
Yeah,
like
that was water and
we had two like
earth.
elements we were.
Yep, you
versed
guys
in.
had 2 elements you were allowed to be versed in max.
And there was some
because-
kind of like overlap between certain things. Like
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
it was a cool world.
It was super fun. And then the High Lords would just kick your guys' ass because they have like all of them.
Oh my god.
All the
yeah.
lords are like all benders. It's fucking wild.
Too many
Anyway.
avatars.
So Freeman, keep going. You can keep us in Alira.
So-
What story did you want to tell?
Most of the missions were I don't want to say they were bad. They're all pretty like normal for D&D campaigns. But there's one thing that happened during one of our missions that blew my expectations for what was going to happen in the game. Just because up until that point, The only two campaigns I played were the one with Luigi, which was based off a WoW campaign, where it wasn't like anything absurd happened. It was fun. And the same thing with vampires. We were kind of on a linear path, but the last mission you gave us before I think we dissolved the campaign was, okay, there's these 3 boats coming to this port city.
Yes, the boats.
One of them contains a, air quotes, present for the leader of this city. And I think the mission was that they didn't know what this present was, and they wanted us to either retrieve it or destroy it, but don't leave any evidence behind that we had done either of those.
Yes, you're correct.
And I was like, all right, this seems pretty cool. Like, I wonder what our strategy is going to be. And then you drop the plot twist on us that the sea that we're operating in is very dangerous. There's essentially what was like a Leviathan creature or
There's
creature.
Krakens
There's
all
Krakens all around, and we had to constantly use these people who
watercrafters.
we could essentially just cloak any kind of ripple our boat was creating to hide the fact that we are on the surface.
Totally an in-universe thing, by the way.
And so we had a tiny little boat, and we had to gradually figure out, like, where the fuck are these boats? Where they're going? How many are there actually? So I don't know if we knew there were 3 or if there could have been more.
You forgot one key factor. This is a whole region of ocean shrouded in fog.
That was it too. Visibility was shit. You couldn't really see anything. So we, from the get-go, we're like, okay, we found a boat. Like, what are we doing now? Like, how do we deal with this? Like, our first thought was, okay, we'll just sneak onto one of the boats, check if it's, what we're looking for, go to the next one. And we couldn't figure out what to do. And someone made a joke, kind of like, why don't we just summon the Kraken to sink all the boats? And we're like, no, that's fucking stupid. And we start discussing, and before we know, it's been an hour into this discussion, and we're at the point of discussion, we're like, okay, so how can we most effectively get the Kraken to sink all 3 of them? And
I
then,
was suggested the Kraken.
This is so. You guys had a general idea where they were, and you knew that the 3 boats were in a line that didn't have a direct line of sight to each other because of the fog. But you had no idea which boat was which and what they were in general.
We also had limited ways to do like long-range communication, so we had to like pre-plan what we were doing.
Because, well, like, one of them was a military ship, the other one contained, like, high society, and the third one had the present, but we didn't know which one was which. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, we didn't know.
That's pretty much correct.
And we were like, fuck the big military one, we need to just sink that. Was that our strategy? I don't know. Because we invaded one and we set it up so that way the Krakens would come attack the first and probably get the one immediately behind it. But the point is,
totally
this was like a multi-week adventure to see how we could coordinate the Kraken attack in our favor. And we had to like keep
multiple weeks where nothing really happened.
We had to keep hiding it from other NPCs who were helping us because the idea of summoning the Kraken was just like, what the actual fuck are you trying to do?
Your boat captain was a guy who was hired by your benefactor and had no direct connection with you guys other than you were using his boat to get around.
Yeah, so we had to keep hiding the fact that we were going to start like just fucking summoning sea monsters here to do our bidding. And the whole time we're like, A, praying it goes off right, while B, like constantly invading these boats and messing up along the way. But that was my favorite thing, was just that night of planning where it opens with, no, there's no fucking way we're summoning the Kraken, to the end strategy of how can we most effectively summon it. That was my favorite. The
miracle of D&D.
That was my favorite part of that campaign.
If I'm not mistaken, because the present was in the present was the boat itself. I forgot. The third boat.
Not the boat. On the third boat was the head of the guy's intelligence organization carrying...
It was like the maps of the Uncharted Island or something, right?
Yes!
Yeah, the island of like living rocks or whatever the fuck it was.
Yes!
It scared the shit out of us.
Oh, those fucking
absolutely
crystals?
True. Yes!
The crystal spiders?
Yeah, that island.
Oh.
God, that was a fun campaign. I like that one.
It felt like very magical. Just the entire universe.
But that campaign also gave me one of my favorite fail moments, where it was we were trying to all jump out of this hotel window because the police were after us.
Oh yes.
And it started with I think I made the first jump and I had the best whatever ability would help me land, and I fucked it up. So it's like, oh, Freeman falls over. Luigi goes next.
You rolled like a 3 or something, so I said you fell out the window and hit the ground.
Or something like, no, I thought it was like you landed on me or something. And then Ryan goes to roll. And he rolls worse than either of us. Slams into both of us. And that was the opening roll of the night.
It was pretty great. It was pretty great.
Just 3 shit rolls. Because we're not like, our characters weren't small guys. We were enormous. So
No, I think you all had at least earth or metal craftings.
yeah,
metal
because we were
furies,
all wearing pretty heavy. Well,
we
Ryan
both
wasn't
had
wearing
Earth. Me and Ryan were both like very distinct fighters, and none of us could stick the landing out of a 1-story building.
No, you guys were on like
two-story building.
Yeah, you guys were on the 2nd story of a hotel.
Yeah.
And the cops were coming to look for you guys.
Yeah, it wasn't our
You guys
proudest
had been
moment, but I was
ratted out.
laughing hysterically. At just
It was
the
pretty
sequence
awesome.
of failures.
Oh god. Man,
Yeah,
I missed that game. That was fun. That was a
Oh,
fun world.
I would like to just go back into it, but not for a while. Not until we're done with Tyler's campaign, of course.
Yeah, this one's gonna
No,
go
yeah,
for a
of course.
while.
Oh, and yeah, Luigi, you might not, I think he said it on the podcast, but he said the Africa base attack, that was the end of the prologue.
Oh,
Yeah, he thought we'd be moving
this
a lot
is-
faster than we actually are.
This is
Yeah.
a long game.
Yeah. I mean, how long have we been going already? Like 6 months?
Something like that.
And my game took a year, and you guys finished all of Fable.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like Fable has a distinct, like, this is the end of the game.
Well, no, I know, but still, like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying it went a lot
Oh
quicker.
yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Fable, didn't Freeman, did you say you wanted to tell a Fable?
Yes, my favorite
Story?
Fable story, but I need to explain some of the backstory leading up to this moment. So I'm assuming it's just an actual part of Fable. The whole was the doors we had to answer a challenge to get into whatever the cave was.
Yes.
Yes.
So
The demon doors.
demon doors. So very early on in the campaign, we did a demon door next to, I think it was like a field of roses.
Yep.
And
Oh yes.
the challenge was like you needed to basically just show affection to this door. So I was part of this. I think it was a week-to-week attempt at seducing this door. And in my haste, the first week, I'm like, let me just pick a rose and give it to the door. And the door's like, wow, I saw you just pick that rose. So Leslie's like, I could pick a better rose than that. So she rolls over to pick up a rose, and she rolls like a 20.
She rolled nat 20.
She rolled a nat 20. So
And I bestowed upon her the most perfect and purple rose ever.
at this point in the campaign, Luigi's evil character has been known to fuck with us aggressively. So we all look at him as he's in the corner, like rubbing his hands together, snickering in the shadows.
Leslie screamed at him, "You're not taking my fucking rose!"
So there's this long-running joke that he's trying to do something to the rose. So flash forward to like maybe two months more sessions, and we're in another demon door. At this point, we open a chest, and there was an elixir of life, which in game, if you drank it, it gave you just like permanent bonus to your health.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, like we've
we've
already witnessed the power that it has because Val was already in a washing machine filled with rocks when she was absorbed by that giant troll.
Oh, that's even a good story.
Oh, we'll talk about that too. All right, so this whole campaign,
Yeah.
But point is, we'd seen it basically stop someone from dying. We knew this was powerful shit. So Luigi, so I forget who was supposed to get it. I think Val opens the chest, and
Val
Luigi's
opened the chest.
like, "Hey, could I have that potion or something?" And then you ask like Leslie, "Could I possibly see your rose?" And she gives just like, "What the fuck do you want my rose for?" And you're like, "Oh, nothing." And none of us knew what you were thinking of doing. And this argument is escalating. People are screaming. It's been like maybe 15,
Leslie
20
especially.
It's been like 15, 20 minutes since we started this discussion. And I'm like reading through my abilities. I'm like, can I just like calm down the situation? And I'd never played Paladin in 3.5 before. And I'm looking through and I find Zone of Truth. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh boy, this is exactly what I need. Just make everyone tell the truth. So I just announced, I'm like, that's it. I cast Zone of Truth. And everyone's eyes just go fucking wide. Like, oh no, what's about to happen here? And then you graduate just to reveal that all you're planning on doing is seeing what happens if you put the rose in the elixir, see if it grows or something. And it de-escalated the situation in a second. But just the panic on everyone when I'm like, that's it, zone of truth, no one's allowed to lie anymore.
In character, Luigi was also being really fucking coy about why he wanted the rose specifically. Like, it wasn't like... It was kind of like, oh, it's not, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal, guys, if I take the rose.
I had to play Johnny C as Johnny
No, you did.
No, you played the character
Johnny
correctly.
C. You totally did. I'm just saying for the people at home, that's why this ended up happening, was because Leslie's like, Luigi, just tell me why you want the rose. And Luigi's like, don't worry about it.
This is going back and forth.
It all starts with just stealing. You steal one thing from your friends, and then you're some kind of bandit.
All right, you know what? I'll explain why we hated him for stealing shit. So Tim, is the mechanic in the game boasting, or is that something that was made up for?
That is in the Fable base game.
So the first mystery went on. Luigi gets up on the stand. And he boasts that he's gonna kill. Wait,
let me just say, boasting in the Fable context and in the context of this game is a thing. At least in Fable 1, I should say.
Yes.
You can, when you take a quest, you can go outside the guild hall, and there's a stand there, like a podium, and you can stand on that podium and make predetermined in the game boasts that in exchange for doing something extra difficult, you're betting money that you'll do it. Like, I bet I'm going to beat this quest without any armor on, and I'll do it naked even, or I'll use only my fists, or I'll just shit like that, where you can bet money to do supposedly more difficult shit. But yeah, anyway, go ahead.
So this was the point in time where I realized I need to pay attention to the wording Luigi's characters choose all the time. Because he gets up and he boasts that he's going to kill this giant bee thing without using any of this wasp, without using any of his weapons. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he's doing it with no weapons. I didn't pay attention to the fact that he said none of his weapons. Because we go into combat and suddenly someone is missing their sword. I don't remember who it was.
Dagger. Val's
missing her dagger, and suddenly Luigi's out there with weapons that aren't his.
Mind you, for those at home, this is the first official quest that our heroes are going on. This is like session 3 or 4.
Yeah, we're all... I think it's maybe the second or third. We're all like level 1. None of us really know what we're doing. Everyone's got like no abilities. I finally had a condition to use the fucking smite evil in combat, and I missed anyway. But that's besides the point. This is our first time in combat, and we're already betraying each other.
No, not we. Luigi's
already betraying the rest of the party. It set the tone for how the party was going to be for that whole campaign.
It was pretty awesome. God, there's so many Fable stories.
It was a fun campaign.
It has to be talked about at one point.
Do you want to tell them about what you were going for with Johnny C?
There's so much. There's so much, and like you said before, you should make your separate podcast night for intermingling
good
alignments,
good and bad. Yeah. Well, we're definitely going to do that as a topic. Oh man, oh god, fuck. There's so many good Fable stories. It's crazy. So hilarious. Okay, but let's go back. Probably do like 1 or 2 more since Luigi's gonna have to get off to raid before the hour.
Yeah, I got one tiny one to throw in at the end.
Trying to think. We were talking about another one. Oh.
You wanted to.
Friedman was talking about one of my side characters I created.
That was what I wanted to talk about. So
yes.
Oh yes.
When we were playing the campaign based on one of the WoW storylines.
Yeah, it's the storyline directly after exiting the first human area. The second human area, called Westfall, has a pretty unique story that actually turned into a couple of comic books of the fall of the blacksmithing guild, or it's a labor guild, and the formation of the Defias Brotherhood, which is basically a band of bandits. They're all bandits, and their goal is to punish the capital city, Stormwind. So,
anyway, so from our perspective, he was the first character we met who basically just like set the world and kind of set us on our first quest. And this was literally the first time I played D&D, so I didn't know what I was doing.
Yep.
And he sends us to go
And
talk.
Oh,
go ahead.
The players, just real quick, the players was you, me, Val, and Luigi was DMing. That was it.
Yeah, it was a
tiny game.
Small game. So you sent us on our first quest, and we get to this guy, and he's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And I'm like, what do we do?" I'm like, Stoutmantle sent us. And the guy is like, "Oh, Stoutmantle? I love that guy." But then as this went on, like, I kept bringing him up everywhere we went, just because that's all I've been doing. And it starts getting more elaborate, because Stoutmantle's supposed to be an old guy. So someone was like, "Oh, he's still alive?" And this started escalating more and more. Like, I thought he died 300 years ago. To the point where anytime we went somewhere, anytime we met any new character, I would have to ask, like, "Do you know Stoutmantle?" And Luigi had to keep coming with dumber and dumber things to describe how awesome Stoutmantle was.
Oh, Stoutmantle? I thought he died 1,000 years ago.
It's just this one character. Like, he's just the leader of this militia that's being formed, and I just loved the running joke.
I was
really
very
fucking
happy.
funny.
Old
Even
man.
like very serious. Like we finished like the biggest boss fight ever, and like backup comes in from some like wizard city, and they're like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." But do you know Stoutmantle?
You just Stoutmantle? God.
That was the
So
last of my
fucking
really good stories on my list here.
I guess we can throw it back to the not a direct story. Well, no. Oh, we can tell about the story I took out of time. The city that I took out of reality. Do you remember this, Luigi?
I do not.
Oh, fuck.
I
Maybe
don't
you weren't in this one.
remember this.
Okay. So, way back. I think I've told this part before. The only reason me and almost anyone I know has played D&D directly goes back to in 10th grade, me and Ed were playing with a kid who played pretty serious D&D, and he actually left to go to another school, and everyone else in the group was kind of flaky already, and it fell apart. And me and Ed had just bought D&D 3.5 books, so we started playing ourselves, and then we invited the DM from the earlier stories we told, and he invited a bunch of people from our drama club at school, and Luigi, you eventually were brought in this way too.
Yeah, I joined my freshman year of high school.
So that our whole group has kind of grown out of that single experience of me and Ed playing a one-on-one game for 2 weeks before some other people joined. One of the first serious games we played, so actually for more context, my friend Ed, who we've talked about before on the show,
He's wonderful.
is one of the most wonderfully nutty people on the entire planet.
I'd love to have him as a guest.
I have only ever described Ed as someone you have to meet to even
comprehend,
understand. He is running a ridiculous game where we are overpowered in about 10 seconds. Because that's what every game Ed ran. He said, "Do whatever the fuck you want, and I can never say no to anyone, so I'll end up making everyone really, really powerful." So we started out in a zombie apocalypse game, basically, and we start off fighting in a town, and pretty quickly everyone's doing whatever the fuck they want around the entire world. Ed's like, "Yeah, you just go to another city. It's no big deal." It's like fast traveling in a video game. Eventually, we get to the point where we've all kind of gone to this one city, and I forget. It's so long ago. This is like late 2000s.
If you're trying to think of the name,
years.
you probably won't guess it. It's
I
probably
won't, but
gibberish.
I'm trying to remember what was happening. But at this point, we already don't have any real sense of story. But we end up at this one big city as a group. And almost immediately, the fucking kid you were talking about earlier, Luigi.
Yeah, a Frat Mudurg. There we go.
Yeah.
That's his name.
God,
Now
I hate
remember
him
it.
so much for eternity because of this. It started here, but he was a really annoying jackass. He still is, apparently, according to Luigi.
He's nice. He's nice. He's just still very sneaky. I'll say sneaky. He's still very sneaky.
I have no desire to ever hang out with him as long as I live. He decides to immediately start handing out hallucinogenic drugs and starting riots in the city.
Wait a minute.
And
that doesn't sound good.
As a chaotic good character, I go to the town hall and I offer to help them put it down or stop the riots. And I went so far as to try to convince Ed to let me throw him in an iron casket and throw it into a lake so that his character couldn't do anything anymore and not let him make a new character. That's how pissed off I was at this guy who was determined to ruin my fun in any way possible. I quickly established myself as someone who actually cared about the city that we were in. And it was like a mountain city inside of a mountain or something like that. It's something crazy. Some isolated city. Apparently everyone else didn't like that I was gaining power a nice way. So everyone else in the game, apparently according to... I also started doing things on the side. I was talking to Ed on the side about things I wanted to do in my city, because I was basically running the city within a few weeks. And Ed, at the same time, lets everyone leave the city and start conquering the rest of the world.
Oh, no.
And so, a few weeks after I take over the city, Ed says, oh, so everyone in their armies show up at your city, Tim, and they're going to destroy you. Oh, that's good. Interesting. This is a good video game. This is a good game of D&D. By the way, we're like level 5. This is not any high level shit. This is like we're barely started.
It's an
Ed let this kid that I was talking about. Ed let him max out like beyond base starting level bluff, and he would just max bluff, do everything he could to max bluff, and Ed would let him get away with anything of a roll of like 17 or higher. And he had like +8, so it was almost impossible for him to fail bluffs. So they're attacking me, and I take Ed off to the side and I say, "Okay, Ed, if this is gonna happen, I want to protect my people. I am going to try to work a spell with my fellow sorcerers to take our city into another dimension, where we can be safe and I can establish my good city into a good empire, sure. But that's my goal, is just to save my city, because you've really just let everyone do whatever the fuck they want, and everyone else clearly doesn't like me running an orderly city."
It's all about the chaos with Ed.
Ed's like, "Okay, roll for it." And I roll, and he's like, "Okay, it'll work." And we go back, and Ed's like, "As you all approach the city, you see Tim's city teleport to another dimension."
What the fuck?
Allowing everything.
I just stare daggers at Ed, and I'm like, "Ed, what the fuck? It was supposed to be secret. They were supposed to see just a flash of light and be confused." And Ed's just like, "Oops." And then every other player is like, "We're going to research how to go to another dimension and track Tim down and kill him."
Oh my god.
And I'm like, "Well, fuck." And that game ended. So yeah.
I haven't had an Ed campaign in maybe 2 or 3 years now.
He hasn't done D&D very much.
No, he hasn't been in town very much.
That's true too.
Yeah.
And when he is, we're usually doing something else, like escape rooms with magic.
You know, that's another reason to come to Worcester. There's escape rooms.
Yeah, that's true. Escape rooms are good.
It has 4 themes.
Oh man, that's 4 chances for us to spend all of our money.
It's like it's only $800, guys.
I think it's actually cheaper than the ones back home too.
Oh shit! Even more of a reason.
Yeah, that I can't confirm because we haven't been there, but I actually genuinely think, because our friends here said that they wanted to do it, and we're probably going to try to do one before they move in 2 weeks. So they said it was not too expensive.
Do it.
But yeah, so yeah, that was fun. Oh man, there's so many stories that turned into one-line catchphrases in our group. Luigi, you probably know a bunch of them, like Ed, he wouldn't do that, the Pegasus wouldn't do that, it loves me.
Fucking
this kid,
what was it? Rob.
Yeah,
there we go.
Just Rob. Who cares? This kid Rob. It's fine. I haven't seen him in like 8 years.
I haven't even heard of him even when I met up with the kid you hate, because like I saw him just maybe a month or 2 ago.
This Rob used to do fencing?
Yes,
I think so.
Okay, I know the guy you're talking about.
The robot.
Well,
yes, I taught him how to fence.
The one whose shirt literally lit on fire, and he didn't react. He just slowly.
Yeah, all right, that sounds like him.
Yeah, it's like...
So we were playing a game where Ed had allowed him to get a pet Pegasus.
Uh-oh.
And he rides the Pegasus to somewhere for some reason. And he sets down and something like spooks the Pegasus or something like that, and it flies away, and he's like, Ed, I want to roll handle animal to make the Pegasus stay with me. And Ed's like, okay, roll, and he rolls terribly. And Ed's like, nah, the Pegasus flies away.
Oh no.
And he just looks at it and he goes, Ed, the Pegasus wouldn't do that. The Pegasus loves me.
The genuine sorrow in his face.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, he was so sad. It was so funny.
Oh, it's rare for him because he shows no emotion because he's not human. He's a robot. So
It was really hysterical. He was genuinely like, no, Ed. Oh God, there's so many more. One of our very first games, I don't even think you were in it yet, Luigi. This is the Great Humflarian.
yes, I was not in it, but I've heard it many times.
So one of the very first games we ever did, Ed has us as a group of people, and we're in a town, and we've just escaped from slavery or something again.
Again.
And, well, I say again, but that was the first time. That was the first time ever. We have basic gear, and we're in town, and Ed's like, yeah, this guy, so the head of this nation or something, the Great Humflarian, is demonstrating this super weapon in the middle of this town.
Oh my God.
And Ed's like, yeah, you guys come into the square, and there's just a crowd of people milling around watching the Great Humflarian talk about how great this super weapon is or something. And I don't remember why, but I just pull out my bow, and I'm like, Ed, I'm gonna shoot the Great Humflarian. And he's like, okay, fine. Tim, I don't know if you should do that. And then I'm like, nah, Ed, I'm gonna shoot the Great Humflarian. And he's like, okay, roll for it. And I roll really well. And he just goes, you shot the Great Humflarian! Oh my God! And so the whole square erupts in a riot, and people go insane. No one even knows it was me, and there's just people rioting immediately in the town square. Oh, I don't even remember where that game went. Oh, but it was so stupid. Oh my God. Oh, one more of those old stories. The air duct. Do you know what I'm talking about, Luigi?
No.
Okay.
I
in a minute.
joined as
No, this is a later one.
Oh, okay.
This is later, but you might.
Later.
That might be
Was
too
it?
general.
Was it?
You'll understand. You'll understand. I
sci-fi
promise. I'm just
campaign?
trying to save. No.
Okay.
I'm just trying to save the punchline. So, it was either Ed or the other guy running this campaign, and the guy that I really don't like was in it too. And he is like Luigi's character, except a shitty version, in that he was completely against the rest of the party. Every game, like, this is why I didn't like him, and why I was always pissed, and he always tried to work against me, was because he wanted to work against anyone he was chaos. He was Chaos Man. In every single game, no change whatsoever, I'm Chaos Man. So, we're playing a game where, it might have been sci-fi, I don't remember now. Either way, we're playing this game, and he crawls inside of he makes an attack roll or something. Something he does pisses off a god. Pisses off a deity, and it like sends an angel down, and it talks to him. And he did something so fucked up that a god had to intervene. And this thing comes down and is like, you better not betray your teammates anymore, or something like that. You better be a good guy. Or no. He prayed for a buff, and he rolled so good that he got it from Ed, but there was a condition where he had to like not be a dickhead. Or there'd be consequences. And so within 30 seconds, he does something to the DM from that first game,
Yeah.
And he like does something and then scurries into an air duct And the guy is like, I'm just going to kick him. I'm going to kick him as hard as I can while he's in the air duct before he can get in all the way. And he rolls his dice. And the second the dice leaves his hand, Ed leaps to his feet and screams, +20 from the gods!
Oh my fucking god.
And he kicks him, and then the roll lands, and it was still a good roll. And Ed's like, you kick him so hard, your foot literally comes out of his mouth after going into his ass. And it was so whenever you hear Freeman, because I'm sure you heard the phrase +20 from the gods.
Yes, I didn't know what the context was, though.
That is the context. Oh, man. That was... Ed is a mass... So, for those at home, this is a side note. I like to add fun descriptions to things in my game. Like Freeman, I'm sure you get... Actually, I'm sure both of you remember things that have happened in Fable that had some rather interesting results.
Oh, no.
You could put it that way.
Oh, no.
Like Freeman's anime finisher in the final battle
Fuck
against
yes.
Jack.
Greatest shit of all
Awful
time.
thing my character did.
Huh?
You mean that awful thing your character did twice? Fucking sacrificing little
Wait.
kids.
Not kids.
Just to get
grown
dank
men.
weapons.
They
Never
weren't
forgive you.
kids.
When you went to Scorm?
Yes.
Hell yeah. I learned to be a little more loose with that kind of thing from Ed, the master of the goriest kills you've ever heard in your entire life. Freeman, it sounds like Ed's a serial killer when he says these things.
Look, I had the luxury of hearing him come up with his character for that vampire campaign. I
Have
can
you ever
only
heard him
imagine.
cackle?
I've heard him cackle, but I can only
Okay.
imagine what he's like as a DM.
I love Ed so much. Because he's like, he's the nicest person ever. But when he DMs, it's like you strictly have to play a chaotic evil campaign
Oh
play
my
the way
God.
Ed wants.
Ed can't not play chaotic evil. Ed loves being psychopath, man.
I'll be reverse
It's like
March
it's like
Mordred.
he's so nice he has to release it in like writing books about serial killers
Or he
or
killed
playing serial killers in D&D or writing plays about serial killers. A light shines in Athens, Luigi. That was his first serial killer story, Freeman.
Oh my god.
Oh.
See, to everyone at home, they're like, "Oh man, maybe Ed's really a serial killer." No,
This is the part where
Ed
he
is-
advertises his book series on Amazon.
Oh.
Oh my god.
How many books did Ed write?
Let's go on Amazon and find
I know
out.
he's got at least 3 out there.
Because I own one of them on Amazon. Where's my Kindle stuff? There's at least
Search
3.
of
I remember
books.
even when I didn't buy them all, I always shared them on Facebook whenever he'd release one and post about it. I would repost it.
He's not the
What the hell
author
is
of
my-
Requiem
Well,
for
I got the
King.
one that his cousin wrote.
His cousin wrote one?
Yeah, I put it in the Facebook chat.
Oh, the Facebook. I was like, what do you mean? Oh. Where's my Kindle stuff? Amazon, can you just let me see my Kindle stuff? It's fucking
Oh
ridiculous.
no.
Time to
I
advertise
just searched
Ed's
his
books.
name and starting at page 2, it's all just pornographic novels.
No, that's not him.
Those are it. It's
There it is. There it is. There's one. Okay,
Listeners,
I found him as an author.
Don't search Ed Reap on Amazon.
Okay, there are 3 books. They are all $1. Oh my god, I forgot how long his fucking titles all are. And they all have the same generic cover in different colors.
oh, you have to link these to me.
Just go to Amazon and search Edward Reap. The first one
There
you
you
see.
go.
Empathy
Luigi, the
with
first thing you
inanimate
yes.
objects.
So Edward Reap, our friend, wrote Empathy with Inanimate Objects, a novella of social justice
That's
genocide.
the first one.
Road to Hell, a novella of upstate New York madness. And a work of fiction, a gender-neutral play about violence, creative writing, and the spirit of human dignity.
They all have the same cover. Just different,
It's different colors.
it's just different colors.
Oh, nope. The font is also different on a work of
That's
fiction.
right. He's evolving. The first one looks like a college textbook, but the new ones look like something else.
Actually, Freeman, you say he's evolving, but that's actually the second one he put out. The third one was Empathy.
Oh, really? Which was the first one?
Actually, no. Empathy, Road to Hell and Work of Fiction came out on the same day.
Okay, well, he's gradually becoming more like a textbook here.
But he hasn't released one in over a year on Amazon. It's ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god, that's so funny, though. So there you go, folks. Search Edward Reap on Amazon and look for those books if you want to read a book written by one of my two best friends who's going to be at the wedding that I'm going to this weekend. Man.
Time
Fucking
to
hell.
buy now. Click, click, click.
And that was our sponsored ad for the week.
Yeah, sponsored by
This
the
episode
sponsored by
brought
the
to you
Ed
by
Reap.
Ed Reap.
I think sponsors have to pay you. We're
No, we got a shill.
oh.
We gotta get.
I
we gotta
just
get Ed up there.
paid him, so I hope he gets the total amount.
He does. He gets a little bit of money, I think.
Okay.
I bought one of them. I forget which one. I certainly never read it though. I like my sanity. It's like reading the Necronomicon.
Oh my god.
Anyway, we're getting close to Luigi's raid time, and we've been going for almost 2 hours, so we'll call it here. Oh man, I think we definitely have enough stories, even just on Fable alone, for another.
We probably have another session of this, yeah.
D&D stories someday, and I'm sure we have some from Tyler's game. Oh,
Fable
Luigi, you didn't even
stories.
tell the ARM story.
Oh no.
You wanted to tell
Should
it?
we tell
you
it
want
real
to tell that
quick?
one real
I got
quick?
time.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So if you describe your arm, and then I'll describe
All
what
right.
I did.
So the DM that we were talking about, this was another game with his girlfriend who did nothing. Whatever. Or no, isn't this the game we were playing when they broke up?
Yes.
Yeah, because then we started the pirate game, and then the pirate game fell apart.
Yes.
So this is the game before the pirate game. We were playing in an underground setting.
Which was super cool. I actually
Yeah.
really liked the concept of the
loved
whole
it.
hold campaign.
So over the course of this game, my girlfriend and I had been watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And as
yeah.
a decently powerful sorcerer at the time, I had decided I was going to try and radically go nuts and create an entirely prosthetic, magical, enhancing arm for myself and have Luigi, our super cleric, do surgery on me to replace my arm with this arm. I did an entire side session with the DM where I went into the bowels of the one of the old underground cities and stole a super rare metal that I could use. Mostly I used teleportation magic to avoid literally an almost insta-kill monster and steal it and run away. It was awesome. So I come back, I fashion this arm. I have like multiple spells in it. I have like the shield spell. It's going to it's enhancing all my magic. It was like this laundry list of crazy shit. And the DM's like, okay, Luigi. Okay, so first I had to make the arm. It's like 3 rolls and I get them all. And then it's like, okay, the arm's made. Luigi, it's time for surgery.
So at this point, I had like maybe close to 40 points in heal alone. I all I did was focus on doctor shit because our party was made up as Tim the sorcerer, I was the cleric, and then Tim's girlfriend was a rogue. So not a lot
And
of
then
like
the other girl.
Hmm?
Oh no, the girl, the main girlfriend at the beginning was useless fairy pixie thing.
Oh
that
no,
did
I meant
nothing.
your girlfriend.
No, I know. I'm saying, but
Val.
for the 4th
Yes.
character.
Yes.
And then later on, she got replaced at the last session, but it didn't really matter.
the most useless, because pixies also get stupid buffs, and the only thing they're lacking is strength. They
She
get like a
always was
-8 to strength.
So here's the other thing I've learned over the years of this is super quick interlude. Certain people want to play reasonable classes, and other people, if you say go on Path Guy, it's called, to make your character, which is the best character building website. If you've never built a character before, use it. Go on there and check the full character creator so you can use 10 trillion stupid classes. They will always use the stupidest and most broken class they can. And his girlfriend is one of them. So, sorry, keep going.
Okay. So yeah, that was ridiculous. All right. So super healer, and I was also the tank, but I did like no damage at all.
That's okay. That was my
Yeah.
job.
Exactly. So
Lightning.
what we had to do was I had to succeed a 30+ check to make sure that you did not die in the process of this surgery. And I had to succeed that check 8 times in total. And that's a ridiculous number to
8
expect.
times?
Yeah. It was like, so I did not have like, oh, my bonus made sure that he was, given safety. So it probably was a higher check than that. Because I knew, all I knew is I had to roll above a 10 every single time or Tim dies. That's all I knew I had to do, and so I did it, and we fucking got it. We got the arm attached. I was so happy that he had this arm, because now it's like, all right, now we can finally get Big Bad Boss.
So yes, at the same time, we had been tracking down this gang of like rat people, I think.
Rat people.
Or were they just called like the Rat Gang or something? I don't remember.
I thought it was like rat people, but the leader was a dwarf.
I thought he was also whatever.
The leader
we were
like
closing on the leader of the gang.
Opposing faction.
Sure, we were closing on the leader of the gang, regardless. And after this, we went on our mission to take out the leader. Yeah,
the salt is rising. I'm sorry. So we went through this entire tunnel. We used a lot of resources, or at least I did. I used up most of my fucking resources I had saved up for this one moment. We cleared this entire base of almost every single henchman we could find. And then we make it to the final room. Big Bad Boss behind it, and he had 2 accomplices. We managed to kill the 2 accomplices easy peasy. And then it was the Big Bad Boss's turn. And he had a repeating crossbow. And he one-shotted me immediately. At full health.
Oh no.
And I died. And then Tim died. For his
and then
second
he turned
attack.
on me and also killed me. It was all in one turn, by the way, because of his attacks.
Yeah.
He one-shot both of us in a single turn. Like, I thought I remembered it slightly differently, where we had almost reached him, or he was trying to run away because we had attacked the base and caused so much noise, and he like stepped out of a doorway and insta-blew both of our heads off. Either way, he killed us both in a single turn before we could react.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And then he ran away, and my girlfriend's just standing there going, "Oh my god, we're both dead!"
And she hightails it because fucking obviously.
And then the game ended. And then I realized I had the shield spell active all the time in my arm, and it should have given me cover against all projectiles. But it didn't really matter because the game was over because Luigi had gotten his head blown off.
Yep. Anticlimactic at best.
Yep. It sucked. It was lame.
It was such it was a fun campaign, and then just the ending was garbage. It's like How I Met Your Mother. It's
we just
No, we don't want to talk about that.
Are you mentioning that because we just reposted it?
Yes.
Okay.
I brought it up because all my feelings got like, oh, that was such a garbage show at the end.
For those at home, I had recently told everybody in our group chat, my girlfriend and I just finished rewatching How I Met Your Mother last week, and that ending still cuts real fucking deep. It's unfortunate.
I don't want to talk about that series anymore. I drink to forget.
I'll bring it up on Thursday. No, we're not meeting up on Thursday.
I drink to forget.
You're not meeting up on Thursday.
That is true. Even better, I accepted a temporary raid position for Thursdays.
Yo, same. My raid group's doing additional training because we're a bunch of scrubs.
Yeah. End game content. Yeah, but God, there's too many stories. Just like that's one of the amazing things about D&D is that these are really more like memories that are great. Like Tyler made me feel bad for an NPC. I felt bad for something that didn't exist.
You're talking about the one that we killed by accident?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I genuinely felt upset about that.
I drink to forget. Yeah. So we'll definitely be back with more stories because this is still we still have a crap ton of stories we can tell for sure. But I think we're going to end it here because we are getting dangerously close to Luigi's raid time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 13 minutes close.
Let's real quick, any upcoming week stuff? Luigi, you got anything interesting coming up this week?
Oh man, just like I'm streaming more often, if that's anything.
Go to Colt. What is it?
No,
Colto?
it's now Lulu's Smash.
Lulu Smash.
Twitch.tv/LULUZSMASH.
It's under WoW almost always, right?
Almost always. I'm playing a lot more Dead by Daylight, especially now that tax season's over. Boom, that game. Oh, let's go. I gotta get rank 1 killer. I gotta be on top. That's what's gonna happen.
Wow.
I got it. I got rank 1 for both of them, and now I'm gotta do it consistently, or else I'm garbage. I need the community to recognize me.
Are you saying you're rank 1 in like?
There can be multiple at rank 1. It's just one. It's like a level that everybody is playing at.
No, but I'm saying that's still really impressive that you're trying to get rank 1 in both games.
Oh yeah, well, I have already. I just rank resets every month. You have 1 month to get us.
You want to maintain both at the same time.
Yep. It's an absolute nightmare. Completely different playstyles.
I can imagine WoW and Dead by Daylight having different playstyles.
No, I meant Survivor and Killer in Dead by Daylight.
Oh.
Yes, that would make more sense.
Shows how little we know about Dead by Daylight.
maybe you guys should watch me more. It's
maybe.
Well, if you told anyone in the group, you could always send like the three, like me, Tyler, and Freeman streaming information. We'd probably watch even if the girls wouldn't.
That is fair enough. Fair enough. I will do that more often now.
But yeah, so you're just streaming Dead by Daylight?
Yep, that's pretty much it. And watching all the anime, especially Laid Back Camp.
Oh my god.
The greatest anime.
I sent you the Secret Society blanket pictures, right?
Oh, I loved it. It was
oh my
as someone
wholesome
who
anime
loves,
2018.
Like, I love to go camping, and a lot of the information they're saying, it's not wrong. It's a little bit like basic, yeah, like, okay, I guess you could use it for those purposes if you're a basic bitch, but
it's not 100% accurate, but like they're not lying. They're not lying to you.
Yeah. No, they're not. They're doing a pretty good job of explaining things, and the best thing, I love it because it's such a good anime with, if there is fan service, I didn't fucking notice it.
There's one episode where they're at a hot springs and it was barely fan service.
That's hardly fan service. If I'm not a little if I'm not cringing a little bit, it's not fan service.
Yeah. So real quick, just because you mentioned this, there have been enough shows that have come out in the last couple of years that have been very relaxing and wholesome that they've come with a name for this genre called Iyashike, which means healing. These shows that make you feel better after you watch them.
Oh my god.
I love
Laid Back Camp.
Yep.
Is that it, Luigi, for the week?
Life is like a cocktail, or Love is like a cocktail. There we go.
I still need to watch that one.
Watch it. Yeah, that's all for my week.
Freeman.
Week. I'll give a minor recap of last week's plays in this week. So my cousin came home last week, and he has finally announced he's done playing Magic. He doesn't like that all his favorite vintage decks and legacy decks keep getting nerfed. So he's resorted to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm like, what? Why? He's like, well, I like when shit is stupidly busted. So he buys two starter decks when we played Yu-Gi-Oh! And I forgot how shitty that game power creeped.
Super shitty.
Oh my god, it was ridiculous. But then I raided for a bunch of the weekend. We failed to get one of the easy-ass raid kills, and we were all kicking ourselves over it. So Sunday night, we're done raiding. I'm like, all right, I'm going to sit down and finally start Life is Strange after talking about it for months on end. I fired up. I watched the opening cinematic. I go to the first dialogue line, and our raid is like, I'm still butthurt about that kill. Get back on. We're killing this boss. So I'm like, fucking fine. So we do a last-second raid with just randoms that we knew. And we got the kill, but I was like, great. The one time I actually sit down and play this stupid game, I get interrupted. And now I'm going to have to say it again on weeks that I'm playing Life is Strange this week. But my plan is to play Life is Strange this week.
Oh my god.
On top of that, I decided I'm just going to, so I'd started playing the Final Fantasy X remaster for PS3, but it's been so long since I played it, I'm just going to get the remaster for PS4 now and just start again. Don't tell Tyler. I don't know if he knows that I still haven't. No, he knows I haven't played FFX. He's just angry with me about it.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I need to get on that before I start down the long list of RPGs I still need to play.
All right.
And then hopefully catch up on all these hype anime later in the week.
All the anime.
As long as you get the 2 that I can talk about.
Look, I'm
I'll
watching them.
watch them this week.
If I don't watch them on Mondays, it's guaranteed I am watching them on. So worst case, we'll just talk about 2 episodes next week.
Sweet.
Yeah.
As for me, got a wedding this week. Like I said, Thursday night going down, coming back Sunday, so I can't record much.
What happened to the Magic episode we recorded?
It hasn't come out yet. I decided that what I could do is, since I already had the first part of my Dominaria update, I would release both of them on Friday or Saturday as like a Dominaria starter thing.
Okay.
Since Dominaria releases on Friday, I figured that'd be fun. So yeah, me and Freeman recorded our special Dominaria chit-chat. Longer than this episode even is.
I think it was less of a set review and more of a card-by-card review just because of how unique that set is.
It was a lot of fun, though.
Yeah.
But that should be coming out along with the first part of my Dominaria Commander update on Saturday or Friday, like I said. I've been playing a lot of Shadow of War. I've recorded up to part 33, and episode 19 just came out today. I'm also very saddened by the fact that, if I can guess this, it looks like the finale of Witcher will be coming out Sunday the 29th. It's going to be the finale of Witcher 3.
Oh, man.
It's sad that it took so long, but it's good because I don't have another game started yet. But I'm going to be sad to see that finale go up.
You should do another round of KOTOR.
You mean like the 3rd season I started doing?
Exactly.
And then
Do a
tech
4th
issue? I did, however, I think finally get one of my favorite games ever working. Empire Earth. I'll just say it on the podcast. Empire Earth. Someone on the GOG forum said if you just run it in Windows 8 compatibility, it just works for some reason all of a sudden.
Dang.
And it worked.
Would not have expected that.
So the load times are weirdly long, but I'm going to try to record that probably next week because of this wedding. I used my one recording time today to get more Shadow of War done because I'm trying to power through and get through that game right now. But I'm going to try to start Empire Earth next week. I'm really excited. And then Shadow of War should continue for a while. I'm almost done with the base game, but I just started the first DLC campaign, the only one that's released, and there's a lot to do in it, it looks like. So that's going to take a while. Shout out to Cypher, who's messaging me right now, asking if we could talk about the Venom trailer that I don't think any of us saw.
No, I didn't watch the new one. I was so disappointed with the last one. I'm
I didn't
not
love
looking
the
at
other one, and I'm not
anymore.
really interested.
Not its superheroes.
Sorry, man.
I'm probably going to try to record my second Dominaria update video in the near future. Maybe some other stuff. I have some ideas, but we'll have to see how those pan out. I'm mostly just excited to finish building my Janara Angel deck. I have like 85 of the cards here, and I just need a few basic lands and a few more cards in the mail, and then 2 more Dominaria cards. And the deck will be done, and I'll hopefully be trying it out a week from Saturday at the store, if I can. I think that's about... Oh, and my girlfriend and I are going to try to see Avengers. We actually have tickets booked to see Avengers on Friday between the wedding service and wedding dinner. So.
Oh, shit.
So, going to see that with Ed, so hopefully that'll be a good time. I'm pretty hype. He's apparently trying to power through all the Marvel movies before the movie comes out. But yeah, other than that, I think we're going to call it a podcast here. Luigi, thank you so much for showing up and filling in last minute.
As always, you're an amazing guest.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The only
Clearly the best guest we've ever had on here.
Damn, shots fired.
She was on one time. She'll live. No, but thank you, Luigi, for showing up.
Of course.
This is Tim.
This is Friedman.
And I'm Luigi.
And
Johnny
we'll catch
C.
you guys next
my
week.
mistake.
There you go. Forever Johnny C. in Leslie's eyes.
So
she'll never
scum.
get
Never
over.
let that one
Scum.
die.
She'll be scarred forever. Thank you all so much for listening. We will catch you guys next week.